Hello, I'm Ikibu, and today I will be your tank instructor. I hope you put into practice what we learned in our last lesson about heavy and medium tanks. Today we will start the next chapter on tank classes covering light tanks and tank destroyers and how they can work together. I hope your notepad is ready because we are rolling out now. Light tanks are the fastest and most agile vehicles in the game. For example, the American M24 Chaffee can reach a top speed of 62 km per hour, and it's only a tier 5. As an aspiring racer, your role will be to use this mobility to spot for your allies. They will rely on you to get crucial information about enemy movements and positions. Your main characteristics are not survivability or firepower. You will need to rely on mobility and your concealment. Light tanks are also the only class that keep their full camouflage value, even when they are moving. You should favour wooded zones using bushes or knocked down trees to conceal yourself and spot enemies without being seen. Be careful though, shooting might reveal your position, so consider this. Is it worth revealing your position? You can try to use your speed to cross open spaces, but keep in mind that you are exposed, so you should not stop there under any circumstance. You probably understand by now, you don't have the firepower to fight in close quarters. However, light tanks do excel at finishing off weakened targets. So survive for as long as you can. You might just be able to clean up the enemy team at the end of the battle. If you are into high-octane gameplay and are interested in picking up light tanks, the Soviet line is very dominant, and it showcases perfectly the strength of light tanks. It features a few milestones leading up to the T100 LT, such as the T50 at tier 5, the NT25 at tier 6, and the T54 lightweight at tier 9. If you are interested in something a little more punchy, the American top tier light tanks come with a unique high caliber armament. Or, starting from the tier 6, the French lights use an autoloader that allows them to deal high amount of damage in a short amount of time. Light tanks are usually recommended for the more experienced tankers, as they require a good understanding of the battle and map knowledge to perform. Now think about this. What is the point of spotting enemies if there is no one around to shoot them? That is why the best friends of light tanks are usually tank destroyers, and they should work together to get the best results. Tank destroyers have some of the biggest guns available in the game, and can deal the highest amount of damage in a single hit. For example, the British FV4005 can deal an average of 1,750 damage per shot. This focus on the gun is a common denominator to all tank destroyers. It usually features good damage, penetration values, and accuracy. Tank destroyers are usually separated into two categories. Firstly, we have the snipers with poor protection. Never found on the front line, they usually favour longer range engagements where they can camouflage themselves in foliage and accurately hit targets spotted by allies. They enjoy the presence of a good allied light tank more than anyone else. The Germans have some great snipers, such as the Nashorn at tier 6 and the Grill 15 at tier 10. On the other hand, we have well-protected vehicles that can use their strong frontal armour to hold a position or advance into the enemy team. When using one of these beasts, don't hesitate to get into the thick of the action, but make sure you keep the front of your tank pointed at the enemy, as they will easily damage your weaker sides and rear. The mobility of these tanks, and the lack of a turret, makes them very vulnerable to flanking. Make sure you can get support from your team before you commit to a fight, because when you're overrun, retreat is not an option. At lower tiers, the UK has some of the best assault tank destroyers, such as the AT2 at tier 5. At higher tiers, the American T-28, T-95 and T-110E3 feature typically good frontal armour, powerful guns, but poor mobility. The German Jagdpanzer E100 at tier 10 is feared for its gun that can reliably deal huge amounts of damage. That was our last class on classes. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. Thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to subscribe for more guides and all official news on World of Tanks.